I think when you look back on this season, you can write an entire book on Rory McIlroy, and it's just not going to be about the Masters. Clearly, that's going to be the hook. That's what you're going to talk about the most. Reaching the top of the mountain, finally winning it after all of those tries, getting the career Grand Slam, all of the things we've talked about. But the fact he was able to lock back in when it mattered the most, because there was probably a month, maybe even 2 months, when you and I sat on this very podcast and talked about Rory's probably mailing it in a little bit, and
He's not
justifiably so.
talking to us. Remember when he wasn't talking to us?
He wasn't talking to us. He didn't seem to be very interested. At the PGA Championship, he was mad that his driver got tested and deemed non-conforming. You can keep going on and on. There was a window in the middle of the year where you thought to yourself, yeah, maybe Rory is kind of checked out a little bit. Not even blaming him. You get to the top of the mountain. Again, we've had this discussion before. Can't imagine what that must have felt like when you get there and then you start looking around thinking, what's next? And he had plenty to do next. The idea that he wanted to get to the Ryder Cup and just not play well, just not win it, but become the face of this defiant European team against an onslaught of just awful behavior. New York fans at New York fans' worst. And he faced them down and did what he did when he's playing his best golf. And then he goes to Europe and he performs even better. And he continues to rise. He continues to shine where it matters to him the most. You don't have to read too far between the lines when you hear him talk about the things that are important to him going forward. And one of those things is the DP World Tour and that dedication to this tour, that this is where I started my career. And this is that a thing that I'm going to support as I'm in the later years of my career, and my spot and my stardom is at its absolute best. And to hear him talk about winning that seventh, essentially Order of Merit title, the season long points race, what it means to him in the context of comparing it to Seve Ballesteros, looking at Colin Morikawa, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to get your stuff. That's the motivation that was hard to wrap your mind around after that Sunday at Augusta National, because it was such a relief, because all of these things were off his shoulder. It has been an amazing season. And again, we touched on it earlier in the show, and we're going to probably talk about it later in the year. The Golf Writers Association of America have their player of the year. And my argument is, when it comes to that vote, that's based on what you do around the globe. And I think you can make a really good argument that he should be that person.
Yeah, statistically, Roy McIlroy was not the best player. That was Scotty Scheffler, and it was Scotty Scheffler pretty decisively. But if you're looking from like a personal satisfaction way of thinking, or if you're looking at it from a historic or a legendary performance, like that was Roy McIlroy's 2025. And so I do think that this seventh Order of Merit title was significant. It now puts him just one away from matching Colin Montgomery, entering what will be Roy McIlroy's age 37 season. It certainly seems like a matter of when, not if, he'll overtake Monty, especially now, as you mentioned, that he's leaning into it and wanting to play more events on the European Tour, how he feels at home playing and supporting, because that's where he wants to be. And Roy McIlroy, at this stages of his career, now that he has become the sixth player to complete the career Grand Slam, he needs these different types of incentives, these different types of goals. It's how he can continue to maximize and extend this athletic prime that he is enjoying right now. If that happens, he wasn't mentioning the FedEx Cup title and how he wants to add a fourth one of those. He wants to become the greatest and the winningest European player ever. He could do so by not just matching Monty, but extending that title over him over the next couple of years.